Man, we've seen some seriously dominant Ayubid plays today.
Yeah.
Ooh, mirror match though to start this one off. This will be an interesting one.
I haven't seen Roos yet today, so let's see two of them on Dry Arabia.
I'm really curious when the change comes mid-season, how Roos will look after the bounty rework that's supposedly on the horizon.
Yeah, I'm really curious what that's going to entail. Hopefully, it allows map makers to play around with deer and huntable food sources a little bit more.
Hopefully, it opens up the map making to be a little more interesting. But we got a couple minutes delay on this one before we dive in. But in a Roos mirror match, that'll be interesting to see. So obviously, Roos being a knight civ, you can just kind of have the French light, where he who makes more knights can sometimes win the game. But I don't think it's quite to that level.
Yeah, we'll see if it's going to be 1TC aggro by either of the players. If it's just going to be 2TC sort of standard play from them both. Either of them has something special up their sleeves for this mirror specifically.
That'll be interesting. I've been enjoying Roos this season quite a bit. I mean, I'm kind of enjoying like the last hurrah before I feel like Roos gets completely reworked and everything changes. I say that we don't know how much it's going to change. The bounty will be reworked. We don't know what that's going to look like.
Listen, I hope it doesn't
so I've been enjoying
force me to hunt deer at the start of the game every time I face Roos.
Yeah, but I like that. I like it though. You know, I've come to really enjoy the minigame when I'm playing Roos. Going against Roos is very annoying.
Exactly. It is
your build.
Feels good as Roos, does not feel good if you're playing against him.
Yeah, unless you can manage to like deny a bunch of deer. I've had games where I've denied enough bounty that I have noticed the effect of my opponent's speed and timings.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, definitely nothing's worse than like being like, why is my timing off? And going, oh yeah, I had 2 scouts. That's why.
Right. I went 2 scouts and now I went 2 scouts. I only got 1 deer pack somehow out of that, and my goodness, this
so bad.
This game may already be lost.
Somehow I only have 7 sheep to my name. Not sure what went wrong. Turns out I'm just a lowly plat player who doesn't know what I'm doing.
Remember when sheep used to give bounty?
Oh my gosh, I was there, Gandalf, 4,000 years ago. Sheep giving bounty. It wasn't a lot though. It was like what, 5?
I think it was 5. Yeah. It
was still busted.
Still pretty helpful.
Imagine like a team game. Imagine back then a team game if you're playing like a 2v2 and you've got a Mongols player as your friend. They just build a pasture and just rally sheep into your base to give you that extra, little bit.
I'm sure it's happened. Back in those earlier seasons. Because I remember before they had patched it, Malians used to build mills and donate cows to their allies until the allied gather rate on cows get nerfed.
Okay, I do think cows should give bounty. I'm gonna die on that hill. The
cows should give bounty.
I think they
why
should give
not?
Bounty. No.
If you're able to get in there and
you're able to go in and kill a cow, that should give you bounty. Like totally.
You can tan that hide. You can sell that for gold. Make some nice
Beef,
leather armor
for dinner. It should totally count. Maybe not like maybe like 20 gold or 15 gold or it's just something. It needs to be something. Team games though, infinite bounty. That's true. It's true. Well, disable it for team games. I want it for just for one. Maybe it has to be an enemy's cow. It has to be an enemy's cow. Friendly cows don't count. I can code that in there.
There's a few things I'd want them to code into the game first.
We're talking about the code base. Of the laundry list of things I want updated, changed, adjusted, that one would be on the bottom for sure. All right, 10 seconds to go. I am excited. KnockKnock versus Fleeze. KnockKnock will be in the pink. Fleeze will be in the yellow. So all those colorblind people will not have a big problem watching this one, hopefully, as we dive on in.
All right, let's do it here on Dry Arabia.
That time I got reincarnated as a wolf in a Roos mirror. Oh, that's good.
Take a look at KnockKnock's deer spawns. Take a look at where that first scout's going. Like, he's going to have 2 packs for free. Look at that.
Well, Fleece is heading right down there as well.
Okay.
Depending on where he turns here. Now, that second one's going to be contested at least.
Oh, man, just imagine, though, if Fleece went in a different direction. Although Fleece also does have 2 deer packs right next to each other, right near his base.
Yeah, he's getting a piece of his friends right there. And I'm sure his second scout's going to head up and around that corner.
Yeah,
some good micro from KnockKnock there.
Take some of that bounty from KnockKnock's second deer pack here. Both scouts, who's going to be shooting first? And KnockKnock takes that last one. Do you see Fleece's second scout? Gonna find that deer pack. Thought it was going to run right past.
I hope he finds the second one right behind it, though.
Yeah, KnockKnock's heading in that direction, looking to contest that second deer pack. So I was assuming that potentially both players would have those safe 2 packs near them to take. But they'll both be contested.
Yeah, 1 pack each. Scouts fighting that back deer, though, up top. I don't know if it's been scouted by anyone just yet. They're kind of just up there.
Yeah, it's icon not on the map for either player.
Oh,
now with Fleece retreating in that direction, he's going to find it.
That's working out for him. That actually works out for him really well.
Yeah, KnockKnock. Able to see it on the... No, not able to see it on the map, but the deer did jump into line of sight for just a second. So Fleece gonna be happy with the outcome of that little scout skirmish as it points his second scout towards that nearby deer pack.
That's what we call a tactical retreat.
Mm-hmm.
And it really, I mean, that's very serendipitous for Fleece. You got to be feeling pretty good. Like, I ran away, like, dang it, he got in there, and he's probably going to get... If you're worried if that deer pack's forward, you're probably feeling bad. But then you see that, and you go, oh, well, you know what? We're cool with this. We're good. So, yeah, the bounty should be pretty even, I imagine, right now. It's going to come down to the wolves. I'm looking at it right now. Fleece at 195 at the moment. KnockKnock at 110. So, Fleece definitely taking a bit of advantage here. Obviously, it doesn't really matter until one of them gets to 250, but...
KnockKnock about to get 2 separate wolves here. And we do see KnockKnock going to commit to a 2 TC play here. Kremlin coming up on the stone mining camp as well. Meanwhile, Fleece's Kremlin is going to protect his gold, going to protect a couple of ways that KnockKnock could enter his base. He's also dropping a mining camp back on his stone.
I'm really curious where KnockKnock's town center is going to go. I'm thinking that gold and berries in the back is kind of the safe bet there. It's probably where I'd put it myself, just to keep that gold vein secure. Otherwise, the early knights are going to get in there. For Fleece, I mean, he's got his stone in the back. I think his spawn is frankly a little bit better overall. Much more defendable. The gold up front, but he can put the Kremlin up on there easily enough.
Yeah.
And let me take one last check on.
Going to be helpful here for Fleece.
Fleece is at 245 on the bounty. KnockKnock at 160. So right now it's essentially the same for both of them. He just needs to get one more.
Oh, we got a boar fighting with the scouts. Fleece about to just about take out one of KnockKnock's scouts here by aggroing the boar. He's going to lose a scout of his own, though, trying to take the wolf.
No. Gaia 1, Fleece 0. Thankfully, his scout's right in the vicinity to go pick up the rest of the sheep and go finish off that wolf. That will push him over the line of 250 and get him the bonus he desperately wants for his bounty.
Fleece with 7 on stone. KnockKnock with 6 on stone. Dropping that lumber camp in range of the Kremlin there to get that boost. And Fleece is just going to harvest the wood right underneath his Kremlin here.
Yeah, Fleece does have the tier 2 unlocked. He's at 270. KnockKnock is sitting at 185, so not to that level. So there's going to be an economic bonus for fleeze. That's definitely going to make a difference in this game.
KnockKnock just a stone drop off away from that second town center. And it looks like it's coming up to be on the deer here. There it is.
Oh, look at this TC spot from fleeze. Pretty aggressive TC from KnockKnock. Well, not too much, just on the deer right there. And then a really aggressive TC, I think, pretty out there for fleeze. And it's immediately going to be scouted out. But on the double gold and the deer, it's a great spot if he can hold it.
Yeah, a lot of resources there. Certainly KnockKnock being a little bit more defensive with the positioning, but still able to get the deer.
That's I guess he could wall in pretty easily on that side. That's not that long to go. He could close that off and be a bit more secure, especially with the Roost Palisades being as good as they are. And I guess we were asking in the beginning what kind of game we're going to get. Looks like we're getting the classic 2TC Roost on both sides. Again, the biggest difference so far in the game has been the bounty.
Yeah, one player a whole tier ahead of the other player here. Still waiting for the first production buildings to come down. We see more defenses from KnockKnock, getting that wooden fortress on his gold at this point.
Yeah, that was my thought, because I was thinking the TC might go back there to be defensible on the gold and berries. He's going to be a little more aggressive with it on the deer up front instead, which is, kind of in range of the Kremlin. But that does mean his gold is exposed, so that makes sense. He'd put the wooden fortress back there. I'm really curious to see what fleeze does here. He's going to have the eco lead by virtue of the bounty, as we've mentioned, ad nauseum. But I'm wondering how he's going to defend that town center up north, because the moment KnockKnock sends any units back there, it's going to get pretty precarious for fleeze.
Ville's moving out, maybe looking to take a boar at this point. Yep, fleeze eyeing the boar on western side here. Getting very aggressive with his economy.
He kind of has the ability to, I feel like, though, because if he loses a couple of vills, he's not losing as much as he would be compared to KnockKnock, right? Because he's got the bounty lead enough to get. He's in the tier 2, his opponent's not, so maybe he feels comfortable with that. I can't pretend to know the calculus enough to whether or not this is a good choice. It's risky, I know that much, and that's why we're seeing obviously the wooden fortress going up first and foremost.
Yeah, well, neither player has built any military production yet. So that boar is going to be safe to harvest for a while.
Yeah, and plus the extra bounty, plus the extra gold. I mean, that if you can take the risk, it's a risk, but if it pays off, it pays off. And it looks like it might just for him here. I mean, that is kind of nice about going for it first, right? There is no military on the map. So we could grab this boar, harvest, and then fall back on the deer next to his TC later. It's not a bad play.
Yeah, good play for sure here. Take the riskier but higher reward food source while you can, while there's no pressure.
Yeah, not something you would do if your opponent decided to go 1 TC all in. Definitely not something you would do in that regard. But knowing, I mean, that kind of goes down back to the importance of scouting. If you know your opponent's on 2 town centers like you've got pretty good bounty, you're probably ahead. Yeah, take the risk, that'll just propel you even further.
Yeah, both players playing for castle here. We should see those landmarks any second now. Just a couple more drop-offs, and both will have enough resources to age.
Looks like he's going to drop that right now. I'm betting it's going to be right in front. Right in this little wood spot right here. There's just so much. Nope, he's going to put it a little more safe. I was wondering if he's going to be on the other side or not. He's going to put it right in there, covering quite a bit. What do we think that's going to be? 140?
I think it's going to be more than what KnockKnock's able to capture here. Just with one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that'll be like a 90, 110 maybe for KnockKnock at most. Again, it's like this is a game of like little differences, right? In a mirror match, it always comes into the small discrepancies in each other's build orders. I feel like the spawn was a little more favorable to fleeze off the get-go, but he's also capitalized on that really well.
Yeah, that scout being pushed in the direction of the deer early on to let him take that last pack uncontested.
That was probably the most lucky thing he had happen for him.
Mm-hmm. Well, now I'm thinking the high trade houses might be kind of equal here, because Flea's not able to really tuck it in, the house blocking that.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised he didn't put it on the other side of the wood. I would have thought he'd done that and then just palisade wall it in a little bit. That would have been my thought, because you are ahead. There is no military right now. I would have put it on the...
Yeah.
If you're being... It's funny. He went risky for the boar, but he didn't put this on the other side, because he really could just wall that in super duper easily.
Well, it turns out to be okay. Taking a look at the tree count, KnockKnock on 38 versus 54.
Yeah, and again, like, it's still better than your opponents, and that's all it needs to be, right? You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be better.
Exactly. A couple militia coming out for KnockKnock. Gonna take down one of Flea's scouts. Gonna scout out where the Kremlin is. Maybe get some scouting information where the high trade house is located. Gremlins don't have a lot of life left. The gremlins, excuse me, militia.
Does get another kill. I think that's worth the investment, right? You need every help you can get. Horse archers and knights is going to be Flea's composition. I love this. He's going to pull a couple gremlins of his own. Not sure what they're going to do or where they're going, but he's going to pull a couple of them. The composition from KnockKnock also going horse archers. I don't see any stables yet, though.
He's got
Instead, he's going to try and opt the wall in.
He's got the warrior monk coming out soon. Looking for those relics. Looking for some sort of economic advantage.
Scout goes down from KnockKnock. The knights coming in. These walls aren't going to be in time. These gremlins, how much time do they have left? They got 29 seconds left. How much damage can they do? Horse archers are on them. Ooh, that's going to be a villager kill, so that evens up the count. Although, KnockKnock's still a villager ahead somehow. He must have gotten 2 kills. No, it's some idle time, I guess, instead.
Oh, those horse archers can't quite kite. I mean, none of them have gone down yet, but they're at super low health. Another scout going down. KnockKnock does have a relic on the way back in. Oh, or he did for a second. He had that plus sign there, but no longer.
Here come the early knights. Horse archers kind of repelling them. Yeah, it's kind of hard to catch up. You don't want to get kited to oblivion with those things, but they're all pretty weak. So if he makes a mistake, horse archer of his own just able to pick off a couple. And now we're seeing the effect of those gremlins on those horse archers, right? Like most of them, a couple of them don't have a lot of health.
Yeah, able to pick off 2 of those with all the damage that was done previously. More knights and horse archers looking to break through the palisade wall. KnockKnock doing a better job of kiting here. Take out another knight from Fleeze.
Fleeze is sitting on so much food right now. He really needs to double up on the gold a little bit here and catch up. He got without that boar. The boar just like really swamped him with food. Now he's onto the deer.
And it looks like it's gonna be 1 relic apiece very soon. Fleece dropping off his own. Took the middle one, and KnockKnock able to secure the one on the western side.
We are getting some blacksmith upgrades coming in. Looks like Fleece is a little bit ahead in that regard. Already got his +2 range damage. I think it's +1 range damage, range defense right now. And a lot of other eco upgrades. Most of them are all gathered. Both players keeping pace in that regard. Let's take a look at the bounty again real quick here.
Not many resources within inside the walls. He's going to have to expand out soon. Finishing up this deer pack, finishing up the berries. He's got some gold as well.
I want to point out KnockKnock is still under 250 bounty right now.
That does not feel good.
He'll get caught up eventually, but now he's at 225, but it's going to be a while. Whereas Fleece, again, he's at 355, so he'll get up to 500 way before his opponent does.
Fleece does have 2 more relics on the way back in. Able to sneak one out from KnockKnock's side, and the final relic on the map deep inside of Fleece's territory. So it's likely going to be 4-1 on the relic count.
It's kind of interesting looking at the numbers here. Both players have sort of mismacroed a little bit. I mean, KnockKnock sitting on a little too much gold. Fleeze was sitting on way too much food. He's starting to balance that out now. A little heavy on the wood. But otherwise, military numbers pretty even. Villager numbers pretty even. The bounty's a bit of a different mix maker. I think map control is more abundant for Fleeze than it has been for KnockKnock. He's kind of turtling up a little bit more. But otherwise, pretty even. We got a pretty good mass of horse archers, though. Looking to do some damage for Fleeze. Actually, I guess it's for KnockKnock into Fleeze.
Yeah, good initial engagement, able to catch quite a few units out of position. Clear that up, but with the rest of the army coming in, those horse archers do need to retreat. You see them picking off knights on the run. Doing a good job kiting now to thin out those numbers, but KnockKnock does need to get back to his base. Reinforcements coming in behind. Just one knight in the mix, though.
Yeah, a bit of cat and mouse here. Pretty okay engagement for KnockKnock. Again, catching those units out of position was pretty big. Trying to contest some sacred sites. I feel like Fleeze should be getting online here. KnockKnock sitting on a lot of gold right now. In fact, the food numbers for KnockKnock are going up a lot as well. I think, is the food running out for Fleeze? He's got some deer he could still take. But he is all in on gold right now.
Yeah, and KnockKnock pushing into Fleece's base here. Kremlin gonna prevent any units from moving in on that side for the time being. Gonna swoop around now, maybe start looking at that second town center.
Yeah, I'm still surprised that Fleeze never did wall this in. I really would have. I feel like you had the wood for a moment. I really think it would have been probably a wise choice because now it's in danger. Now, I don't think this is enough to destroy the town center, but you definitely don't want to have any more idle time than you need.
Yeah, all that wood seemingly going into just a mass of production buildings here. Fleeze trying to get that military count back up while he can before KnockKnock commits to a push here. KnockKnock looking to pick off a few units outside of Fleece's base. The static defense is going to prevent KnockKnock from pushing any further.
Yeah, Fleeze looks like he's getting his military online, getting lots of houses up. I think we'll see kind of a boom and surge ahead here. Again, his villagers are more efficient. His hunting cabins are gathering more gold. I'm going to take a look at the actual numbers here. Looks like he's getting 163 on Fleece's high trade house versus, I'm guessing it's going to be like 110. 134 for KnockKnock.
We could see a lot of villagers go down at this point. 2 already. KnockKnock pushing in, able to take 3 off of that wood line. KnockKnock's knights not able to get out of there, but doing some eco damage. Also has 2 sacred sites at this point. Trying to come back from the relic deficit a little bit.
Yeah, both players starting to make a bit of a farm transition under this as well. It's kind of a stalemate, really. I mean, I think KnockKnock has done a good job of getting some damage right now, and he definitely needed to keep things even. Because looking at the numbers, I will say the difference, though, here is that if you look at the economic numbers, the gold is for KnockKnock is not nearly as much a minute as it is for Fleece. He is bringing in some serious cash. He's going to be able to replace this military very easily. And we're seeing that now, 40, 27. The military numbers behind this, but were some okay engagements for KnockKnock. Behind this are not so great because the production is just there. He's massing towards his base right now. And he called the gremlins. Ooh, good call.
Look at that. All these villagers out of position. That main army from KnockKnock forced to come way back. Those vills threatened. Horse archers behind all of this. We'll see if they're able to get any good shots in on the wood line. If there's any vision in there. But KnockKnock doing a good job not overcutting.
Oh, he did, though. He did overcut.
A little gap. A little gap. And here come the
The
gremlins.
crap
for
button has
KnockKnock.
been hit. The gremlins are coming out. KnockKnock slamming the door closed. Gremlins coming out. And the numbers are so even in this game right now. But if you look at the gold a minute, though, the gold for Fleeze is astronomically higher right now than it is for KnockKnock. I think that really is the difference right now. Once Fleeze builds a market and spends it, he could go Imperial here in a second.
Yeah, just needs to hold on. Flea's looking for a second Sacred Site, able to decap KnockKnocks.
Keep going on next to the far right one. Looks like KnockKnock is trying to amend his gold situation here.
Mango on the field. Just misses that mass of horse archers. Military counts just about even at this point.
It is, but I'm still looking at the eco. Fleece has got that. He needs to spend the gold. He's got almost 3,000 in the bank. He needs to spend that. The moment he just puts down a market somewhere and decides to balance his eco, this game could be easily his.
And KnockKnock doing a good job to pick off horse archers when he can. I think throughout the game, KnockKnock's been taking better engagements. Unfortunately, he just lost 3 vills on the stone to 1 knight.
$3,000 gold in the bank. Fleece just needs to balance his eco. He's bringing in so much a minute right now. He's got to start thinking too where he's going to get gold more long term, but it doesn't matter at the moment. He just needs to spend what he's got. All right, his gold vein just ran out. Hopefully that will entice him to look at what he's doing here.
A couple knights breaking through into KnockKnock's base, but they're going to get cleaned up. A little blocking on the way out.
So 4 relics for Fleece as well. And he's got 2 of the sacred sites. Gold is not an issue for him.
I think what's keeping KnockKnock in this game is that, yeah, he's just taking better engagements. He's getting more value out of his military trades here.
Yeah.
Always seemingly able to take out a few more units than he can lose. See a Springled coming up to try to engage with that Mango, but a little out of position there, a little too far forward.
Got a crossbow switch for KnockKnock. Help take care of the knights. Crossbows and horsemen. So a tech switch coming in. $28 villager kills though for Fleece. I'm like, he didn't raid something on the side, did he? Has that all just been down the front door?
He actually did quite a number on those vills under that keep earlier.
Okay, I was gonna say like that had to be where it was at, right? Because that's a lot. He's losing more still. Well, that's crippled the gold for KnockKnock though. So while he's got a bigger military, he's there. It's all trash units. Well, that and a couple crossbows.
Yeah, but it's enough to hold for the minute anyway.
Fleece just needs to go imp. He can just buy imp at this point.
Mango
This
shot.
looks like a pretty good engagement for Fleece though.
Both sides have their mangoes.
A lot of work.
Ooh, a pretty good hit for KnockKnock. Also able to take out his opponent's Mango here. But he's just losing military.
Ah.
Just barely gonna get that Mango to safety. No!
Nope.
Taken out by the arrows on the way through the gate.
Rare sight. Rare sight indeed. Man, that overchop is killing KnockKnock. Like, the door is wide open. Well, and now we got to consider, where is he going to get gold? He's only get 300 a minute. That's basically his hunting cabins are basically it for him.
Yeah, no vills under that keep. There's a trebuchet currently working on taking that down. You see Fleece has a couple of knights patrolling a little gold vein on the southeast. There is a keep to the west. Do you see that's protecting this small little gold vein for KnockKnock, as well as the larger one right next to it. Fleece coming in, has another Treb with an army.
Both players are still at tier 2 on their bounty. Fleece hasn't quite, he's close, but hasn't quite hit 500 yet.
A little raid near that second town center for KnockKnock. We'll see if he's able to pick up some villagers with this mass of horsemen. Meanwhile, that keep...
Oh, that's a good round.
Under threat. Oh no, Fleece doesn't see it. He's losing a lot of bills. Very effective raid by KnockKnock. But yeah, I don't know if that is going to be enough.
I don't think it is, because he's still, I mean, he's still sitting on 1,700 gold. That was a great raid, though. I mean, that does bring things back a little bit, but the real problem is the map control, essentially, is that, I mean, he's got horse archers taking his keep down right now, along with the Treb.
Yeah, doesn't feel good. Horsemen just continuing to find more villagers.
Well, Fleece is actually like pretty much population capped, so every villager he loses is just coming back into more military for him.
Yeah, and with I
don't think the raid's enough. It was a great idea, but it was a little too late.
Do you see a panic mining camp in the southwest? But Fleece looking to build a wooden fortress next to it. And we've got the massive engagement outside of KnockKnock's base. Double mango shot over the top. Triple mango shot, able to take out some of the horse archers.
That choke point was rough for Fleece.
Yeah, back a little bit. Those mangoes just struggling to get out of the door. The siege is piled up. Mangoes can't get into position. There's another good volley. But in come the knights onto the siege. You see the crossbow spears trying to defend. We'll see if one mango is going to survive this.
Yeah, Fleece needs a tech change right now. The horse archers, it's not working in a head-on fight at this point. Not against horseman crossbow and mangoes. I mean, that's not working well anymore. Yeah, and we basically reset the military again. Yeah. But at this point, Fleece is up 20 vills, up on the relics, up on the sacred sites, up on the bounty. Well, not up on the bounty anymore, but was. I've like that was a setback, but I don't think it's enough. KnockKnock would need to deal like a crushing blow. If he could have swept this military off instead of just kind of both lowering their numbers equally, if he'd have swept Fleece's military off the board and then gone back into his base, maybe. But it just feels like the economic lead for Fleece is just a little bit too much right now.
Yeah, it is so good, and KnockKnock's just been trying to get that gold income up, and you can see Wooden Fortress is gonna try to deny that gold vein for KnockKnock. Able to take out the villager, but the
sprinkled tower on it.
It completes.
I mean, I've said it a couple times at this point. Fleece could just buy Imperial, and that would probably close out the game. He needs to switch his tech, stop making horse archers, probably go Imperial. Maybe go into some Streltsy. I don't know. Streltsy seem to always work. Maybe not against this comp, actually.
They're a pretty good unit. Another little horseman raid coming into Fleece's base here. For some more villager kills.
Knights in the back gold for KnockKnock. He's losing bills. And that's the problem. He's just got no gold behind this. He really can't afford to do anything other than horsemen. Which, thankfully for him, horsemen have worked pretty well. But again, long term, it's just not a solution.
KnockKnock trying to hold, but I think his time is running out here. Just can't secure any resources. Does have enough for another keep at some point. Gremlin's called out. You can see Fleeze bringing Bills to the front line.
Honestly, I feel like Fleece should just go Horseman himself into the crossbows. Like, that's all that's left is crossbows and Horsemen. You should just make Spears and Horsemen of your own and you win. He's calling the Gremlins, so I guess he's half taking my advice, going for some sort of Spears.
KnockKnock's
got a military lead in numbers. Fleece needs to just change his macro a little bit. He'd spend his gold, do anything. He's got the game in the bag. He just needs to close it.
Up to 6,000 in the bank.
I mean, you can't take it with you.
KnockKnock able to get another keep up, but
no.
As soon as it goes up, Fleece is there.
Isn't that the worst feeling?
Yeah.
You get the keep up, you're like, I'm nice and secure now. Immediately gets overrun by a military. And it's like, well, I guess I'm not that secure now. I thought the keep would do it. This is the kind of game that's going to go on for another 10 minutes or so. That could probably have ended about 5 minutes ago.
Fleece with such a dominant economic advantage, but just can't win fights.
He just needs to cash it in, is what it really is. I mean, he's got the economic advantage, but he's not using that economic advantage, right? By stashing 7,000 gold in your bank, he should have bought feudal by now. Like, there's no reason not to. Or not, I said feudal, I meant imperial age. But like, at this point, there's just no excuse. You're up 6,000 gold. If you're wondering why you haven't won the game yet, that's why.
Horseman gonna eat up the siege of Fleece.
Okay, he's now buying Imperial. He just finally adjusted things. Spent some of the gold. He must have built a market somewhere.
They're dropping a Skya tower.
Yeah.
Looking to deny that gold.
That said, it's 75 military units to 40. Now, a bunch of those horsemen I'm looking at going into Fleece's base are pretty low health, and they do have knights chasing them. There's a lot of crossbows, though. I'm counting 42 just standing right in front of KnockKnock's door. Ooh, KnockKnock does not see the Imperial Age, and this Skya just popped up out of nowhere for him.
Now he knows.
Didn't see it.
High armory coming up, though, for KnockKnock. Not too far behind.
Wow, I can't believe he was able to manage to get the gold for that. I'm genuinely surprised by that. I guess I say that, but he's kept his crossbows alive for a while, and he's just going horseman, so he hasn't spent a lot of gold.
Yeah, able to get great value out of basically every single fight he's taken.
If KnockKnock wins this, it's going to be because Fleece sat on 7,000 gold like a miser.
Yep. 100%. Both players up to imp at this point. We do see elite horsemen and elite knights on the way for Fleece. KnockKnock just doesn't have the gold to get any upgrades at this point.
Yeah, he was able to get. I was surprised he was even able to get up to Imperial Age, but now that he's here, he's got no way of getting his units to get that tech advantage. So I imagine Fleece doesn't need a huge military mass to keep this going. He's got elite horse. He did finally. Fleece has gone into horseman. Finally making the tech switch he needed to do. I imagine if this keep goes down, it's probably GG. Yep.
And there it is. Yeah.
That could have been ended about 10 minutes ago, I think.
Yeah. Quite possibly. KnockKnock doing a great job to hang on throughout the entire game. Able to take some really, really good fights throughout the course of this one, but Fleece just had the economic advantage the entire time. Was finally able to put it to good use and close this one out.
And you know, I think that edge started with the bounty. I really do. Like he got lucky into that one deer pack, and that was kind of the difference.
Yeah,
he did that, and then he went for the boar and took the early map control, and then from there it just kind of snowballed slowly. He really could have taken advantage and cashed that in a lot earlier, and that's why that's a picture perfect example of why you don't want to float gold or too much gold. I mean, it's one thing to float like 2,000 gold. It's another entirely to float 6,000 gold. Like when your gold vein runs out and you've got 3K in the bank and you don't make a market and start thinking about what you're going to do with that gold, that's a bit of a problem. You gotta lock that in. But otherwise, I think Fleece did a really good job. I'm glad he finally swapped. Once he swapped into the horseman as well, he needed to get off of horse archers a lot earlier. And once he did, he kind of noticed he started winning some fights.
Yeah, those mangoes were actually chewing up the horse archers pretty decently throughout the middle of the game there.